I only look at like 1 to 2 teams that can beat the Celtics.
And that is
the Warriors and the Clippers. Those are the only 2 teams that can match up well with the Celtics and can go firepower for firepower with them on both ends. But I don't know if those 2 can comfortably get out the West. You know what I'm saying? It's because if Denver gets out the West, I think Boston can beat them. If Dallas gets out the West, I think Boston comfortably can beat them. Phoenix is going to be a tough matchup. I think that's one you could look at. Like, all right, this is one of those matchups. But I think I would pick Boston's defense. You look at a team like the Pelicans. I think the Boston sweeps the Pelicans. There's a lot of teams. Facts. Memphis, I think Boston destroys Memphis. So there's a lot of teams, it's really tough. Because it's all about matchups, but not many teams can match up with the Celtics in the West.
No, but you still got to get through the West before we want to talk about the Celtics, right? You got the West is so difficult because the Mavericks, for example, I get the offense, I get the scoring. Luka and Kyrie could go off for 80, and they could put up ridiculous highlights and do all of this. We see year in and year out, last year too. If you don't have a good defense, not just good, if you don't have a damn near elite defense, Celtics and Warriors are both top 5. They might have been top 2, honestly. I think they were top 2 last year in terms of defensive efficiency. Dallas is ranked 22nd right now.
When Dre was healthy, yes.
We're not even talking about in the realm of even a good unit. Right now, 22nd, you're looking at one of the worst units in the league defensively, right? So I understand they had some moving pieces, but you also lost one of your better defenders in DFS. So while you want guys like Josh Green to step up, you've had Josh Green on this team, and you're still ranked 22nd defensive efficiency.
The defense is not good.
And that's an issue in the playoffs. That's an issue in the finals when you have 7-game series.
And the Clippers' defense is good.
But you want to know his defense was
their Clippers' defense is good.
You want to know his defense was also trash? The 2021 Brooklyn Nets. They were 23rd in defensive rating, even worse than the Mavericks ranking. And look what happened when they played the Bucks in the second round. They were cooking them so bad. It looked like Chris Middleton didn't know how to play basketball.
Okay.
They also had, I guess.
Oh, no, fuck that. Black Budenholzer sucks. That's the real problem.
He was going to get fired if he lost to. It was end.
And then you got to remember, they played Boston, and that team was trash. That was a
they beat us without Jalen Brown. Evan Fournier was starting.
It didn't even matter if he started. That just wasn't a good Boston team. They had Kemba Walker.
That Nets team was so great offensively, with just the right amount of role players that complemented
We're talking about the greatest offense ever assembled. I understand that.
No, because James Harden,
I understand.
He left that series with a torn hamstring through 30 seconds. So I'm tired of hearing the Mavericks offense is not good enough because their defensive rating. You're right. Their defensive rating stinks, but so did the Nets team. The question is Luka so great offensively like Kevin Durant that he can will you to the conference finals? And the answer is yes. And then you get to the finals. I'm sorry. If it's Tatum versus Luka, Joel, I'm sorry.
Stop it.
Luka
the Mavs simply are not on the Celtics level.
It's not Tatum versus Luka.
No,
it's a Boston versus Dallas.
But you bring in Kyrie Irving to the equation. Now JaVale McGee doesn't look as cooked offensively.
Yeah, you think Kyrie wants to play the Celtics?
There's no way in hell. The Mavs don't want to face the Celtics. Come on, the Mavs. Listen, the Mavs aren't going to have to worry about this. They're not going to the finals. But I'm going to tell you this: if this does happen in some crazy possibility, the Celtics would smoke them in 5 games. The Celtics are simply just way better.
Luka against a Clippers team with Kawhi and Paul George and all of these wins and all of these shooters took them to 7 both times. And that was without Kyrie Irving. That was with Jalen Brunson. That was with Tim Hardaway Jr. Luka is a better player now.
That was also with Kristaps Porzingis, and Kristaps Porzingis ended up becoming a hole in the offense and defense.
The first series round, Kristaps left early with injury.
But that was when Kristaps was.
The second time, Kristaps Porzingis was playing the same role that Maxi Kleber was going to play in 3 months.
Does it not bother you that the Celtics just played the Nets last year, who had 2 prolific scorers, Kevin Durant and Luka, neck and neck, and they shut it down?
Why? Because all those games, those were one of the 3 closest sweeps in NBA history.
Not for sure, but they got swept.
They did get swept, but the reason
why they got justify a sweep, John?
Because they couldn't close the game. They had no wing defenders. They had a bunch of guards they couldn't shoot and a bunch of bigs. They're getting cooked by Al Horford.
Can't close the game, but you have Kevin Durant and
Kyrie Irving. Blender.
But defensively, they had no wings. Their best wing was who?
But you're telling me that offense can mask a bad defense. But you're telling me offense can mask a bad defense.
I'll say this.
Why couldn't it mask it then and win one game?
Because they didn't have enough wing defense. They had none.
Kevin
Durant. They
had 0.
Outside of Josh Green, who did the Mavs have wing defense?
John, can I ask you a question?
Guard Tatum, guard Brown, guard these guys. Who?
Maxi Kleber.
You
gotta stop, bro.
It's impossible.
John, can I ask you a question? Because quickly, this is why I said Josh Richardson was a good hiring for the Pelicans, because he can space the floor, he can defend. Great hire for the Pelicans. Signing. Sorry, Jesus Christ. It is a hiring because you're hiring him to come play with the team. Whatever. In terms of Dallas, John, can I ask you a question? In the West, what? Because you said they don't need that much defense. in a 7-game series where you have to buckle, because in the West, none of these teams can play defense. No. You're going to have to play defense for 7 games.
That's true.
Yeah, in the West.
What if you just outscore your opponent? What if someone falls in Kevin Durant's leg for a 4th time?
Okay, stop.
You can say the same thing about Kyrie.
Take the injuries out. Please take the injuries out.
The Clippers can't outscore. Like, I understand, yes, the Mavs are probably...
Let me ask, what do you think? Because, in the West, I think it's interesting how coaches are able to neutralize star players, right? So, in the West, they have Jason Kidd, they have Luka, they have Kyrie Irving. Do you not think at any point they're going to have to crack down defensively and get stops for consecutive games?
Oh, without a doubt. That's what the Nets couldn't do last year. Or Jason Kidd and just the right amount of personnel. Like, Luka is a passable defender. Him and Kyrie are not known for their defense.
He is passable.
Luka can hold up. I think the big X factor is JaVale McGee because he's 35 years old. He looked as cooked as a bun to start the season.
But they brought in.
Yeah, I know. They brought in Kyrie, and now offensively he's given a little bit. And if you just have that body in there, if he has some sort of pulse, I think that could be enough for them defensively.
He played 6 minutes last night, John. I'm going to be upset.
All right, because I really don't want to talk about the Mavericks going to the NBA Finals because, respectfully, John, I don't think it's going to happen.
He's got 2 games over 10 minutes in the last couple weeks.
I'll say this.
You mix and match those minutes with Dwight Powell and Christian Wood off the bench. Joel's guy.
I was going to say, Christian Wood, that's the most exciting name you've said to me.
Dwight Powell,
do they even like Christian Wood?
No, not really. Don't want to extend it. But Dwight Powell's a good defensive center as well. I think
those 2 wins stinks.
And so did that Nets team. What's that Bucks?
And they got Okay, you're talking about...
You toss Blake Griffin on Giannis in the half court, and then you have 1 or 2 wins playing the passing lanes. And I feel like with this Mavericks team, Dwight Powell can do just fine in the middle. You have JaVale McGee for 10 minutes. You have Christian Wood. I mean, you have a supernova offensive.
JaVale McGee's not getting burned the regular season. He's getting DNPs.
Mostly.
All right.
I don't know if I hear you. Beginning the season, I would be right with you. But this entire regular season, we're 60 games in, JaVale McGee is really not part of this rotation.
It's not your best option.
You sound like you have a lot of faith in Jason Kidd. Because this is all Jason Kidd.
Good coach.
I have a lot of faith in
Luka.
As Joel said,
Luka. No, but you're talking about defensively. You're talking about Dwight Powell, JaVale McGee, because I still have not figured out in my brain how Steph Curry was able to win 4 rings with 2 non-shooting bigs. But then I thought, Steve Kerr is actually really, really fucking great at what he does, right? So you're talking about Dwight Powell, JaVale McGee, Maxi Kleber, which you keep saying him. So that means you must believe Jason Kidd, because he's walking into the playoffs. He might have to see Tyronn Lue. He might have to see Taylor Jenkins. He might have to see Steve Kerr, Monty Williams. But I think he already outcoached Monty Williams, but now he has Kevin Durant.
Jason Kidd is a great coach. That's one thing
that's what I'm saying. So are you trusting in Jason Kidd to get it done?
I think Jason Kidd and his guys can muddy it up in the playoffs. Okay. And in this Western Conference, the Suns, look, Josh Okogie's been playing great for them. But if he stops shooting the way he is with his mask on, that Suns team has the same issues. The Nuggets, that's my favorite.
Well, Reggie Bullock
but at least they got Chris Paul to play.
What if Reggie Bullock
is a big who's better than the
Chris Paul he's a great playmaker, a great mid-range shooter.
That's all they need.
That's all they need.
And then Luka will batter him in the post, do his thing. Then you got
what if Reggie Bullock gets back to shooting 0% again?
That'd be an issue.
Reggie Bullock.
Because that's what you said. You said Reggie Bullock.
Josh Green, my friend.
And Reggie Bullock, Josh Green, who's also
Reggie Bullock's gonna have. He has to get minutes. He has to get minutes.
All right.
No, Josh Green.
No, Reggie Bullock.
Yeah,
he's one of the best defenders.
Between him and so this is what the Mavericks, I think, closing lineup should look like.
Okay.
So, in offense games, like let's
Christian
say,
Wood needs to close those lineups.
Most of the time.
At the 5.
Yes,
for sure.
Maxi Kleber protecting the rim some with that switching look. It would be the Mavericks' best lineup: Luka, Kyrie, Josh Green. Ideally, Maxi Kleber, and then Christian Wood. We'll see a Maxi's hamstring, which he tore.
I liked when the Dallas and the Clippers played. I like what Christian Wood was able to do against small ball lineups, draw fouls, put them into positions where they're in the bonus early.
It's a really good rebounder.
I like that. And he's a good defender. He can hold up against certain guys. So I like that matchup.
I might be a better post defender than Christian Wood, but he's a good solid switch defender.
It's small ball, so there is no post. Like he can guard. Sure. Like it's no post up guys for really, unless you get him in the switch up. But what he can do to defenses is wreck them, force them into bonuses. Maxi Kleber is good for the spacing because he may not have the percentages, but he's a shooter. You still have to go out there, respect it, and then as a defender, he's good. It really just depends on matchup. It just genuinely depends. But I'm with you, John. I have Mavericks as my contender also.
I know. It sounded like you were talking yourself out of it, though.
No, I'm understanding both sides. All right. I'm understanding both sides.
So
the Boston shit was crazy.
And other than that was insane.
Yeah, I'm understanding
that was
both
insane.
Sides. Yeah.
So you spoke about matchups. So what we're going to do right now.
Boston hater.
I love Boston.
Oh,
but
good. Now we love it. He sounds like
Joel.
Oh, I love Boston.
There are questions.
Show me a tweet. Bro, show me a tweet from 2018 about this Jason Tatum.
You and I watched the same NBA Finals.
We did.
And Jason Tatum played bad.
Is Dallas the Warriors?
And went 6-0.
Is Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum a conversation?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It is.
Obviously.
But it's Steph.
But we're talking about a dynasty. And the Mavericks.
Tough.
Dynasty.
The Warriors.
Oh. Got it.
That's a great point. But
sorry, bro. It's you. So I
automatically.
Our
dynasty of going.
You would call them that. You would call them a dynasty early. But yeah, we're a dynasty.
It's a big difference. That's
we have Draymond Green, Steph, Kerr. They don't have guys like that.
With respect, bro, they don't. They simply don't.
Wiggins.
Like, is the Mavericks third better than Derrick White?
No. Drew, I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay, wait. What the fuck?
Yo, respect Derrick White before you say something dumb.
Yeah,
Derrick White's better than Christian Wood.
He might be.
It's a conversation for sure.
Conversation. What?
Like Derrick
White,
White,
just tell me you have just tell me you're not tapped in on Derrick White. Just tell me you're not tapped in.
No, you guys are pissing me off.
Just tell me you're not tapped in.
Derrick White is good as the 6th or 7th man on Boston.
Okay,
he's good in his role.
He's been amazing.
Christian Wood is like being placed as like a 3rd or 4th guy on Dallas.
But you see when Derrick White gets to be the guy, what he does.
Are you serious?
I am.
What are you using? A weak sample size?
He doesn't get that opportunity
because that's not his game. That's not his role.
Well, it's because look at the team.
That's not his game. We're like, what are we doing here?
Look at the team. You have Tatum, you have Brown, you have Smart ahead of him, Brogdon ahead of him.
Derrick White is not the third best player. He's not. But that is my entire point.
Derrick White was the 3rd best player on a basketball team. What did they do?
Derrick White would go to the Mavericks and be their 3rd best player.
And what would they be?
I don't know. You have them as a contender already. So what are we doing?
We gotta end this.
No, exactly. No, we do have to end this, and that's what I tried to do. We're gonna talk about matchups.
We're talking about Derrick White and Christian Wood. You're making it seem like this is a fucking all-NBA player.
You're putting yourself in circles.
You guys are crazy.
No, we're not, because we exposed your ass and we got you.
No, you guys are overrating somebody in their role. He's a good player. He's a 7th player.
You know what it is? He took the under on Derrick White points last night, and what did he give him?
He looked like a fool.
27. Oh my!
Like, bro, wake up.
Like, that's fine, Riv. I agree. He is great in his role, but then you see him get into a starting role, and it's fucking phenomenal.
Let's end the conversation on this.
All right, please.
You don't watch Derrick White. It's okay.
No, you don't. You're a casual to Derrick White.
He was cooking your boy Drew. You told me Drew Holiday was going to lock him up yesterday. What happened?
Yeah. This man has played.
All right, last thing, and we're moving on.
No, because he played significant. He played good roles in San Antonio.
Last year he was mediocre because he got traded to the Celtics mid-season.
I just think you guys overrate guys in their roles.
What do you mean?
Honestly, he's a
great role player.
Has he had a great 2 weeks? Yeah, it's been incredible. But is that his natural role? No, he's literally a 7th best guy.
Shooting 39% from 3 this year.
He's a good shooter. He's
a good defender. He's a good playmaker.
He's a good defender. He's a good. I'm not saying denying that.
All right, is that wrong that he would go to the Mavericks and be their 3rd best player?
No, I don't think that.
Okay, so then what's the issue? Oh, you don't think he would be the 3rd best?
I don't think he'd be the 3rd
best. So you're saying Christian Wood is better than him?
Well, you can't. Yeah, I think he is better. I hate to say that with centers and guards.
I understand.
Yeah, he is better. I think he is better.
At best.
All right, John, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
The best defense is a good offense.
Christian Wood win Player of the Week?
Unfortunately not. Giannis should have won Player of the Week.
Oh, he didn't. Sucks.
I butchered that.
Almost lost to Sam Hauser and Moose.
It's okay. It's all right, John. Yeah. It's all right.
Not ideal for Giannis.
All right. Let me gain
control. 33, 23, 27.
I mean, with respect, Riv, you're really disrespecting Derrick White, and it's really it's appalling.
We've had some weird. We've had Davion Mitchell versus Tyus Jones debates. I think Christian Wood versus Derrick White.
Riv just made it seem like Christian Wood clears him. That's the issue. If you want to say it's a toss-up, fine.
I think Christian Wood is better. Honestly, I think
well, you got very animated when we said Derrick White's better.
You guys really overrate.
No, we don't, bro. All we're simply saying is that one of the
7th best guy that's wide open.
Have you seen
him
protecting the rim?
He is honestly one of the best blocking guards in the NBA.
He's like
might be the best.
You're on your own on this shit. I'm telling you, Riv.
But your argument doesn't make sense because he's good in his role, but once he's in a starting role, he's elevated.
He's elevated because he did it for 3 weeks.
Is that not a pretty decent sample size for someone who comes in off the bench?
How many games was it?
I'll tell you right now.
If it's not 10 games, I don't want to hear it.
My guess would be 10 games.
All right. If it's 10 games, I will concede this argument.
All right.
Okay, he started 1, 2, 3, 4, 12.
I'll concede.
Just throw some respect on his name. That's all I asked.